Fields at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. We're in Little Rock again. This is Rick David. I've got Brooks Beasley here to my right. Brooks, feels good to be back at home, huh?
Absolutely. It's been a while since we've been here, and I'm like you. I'm glad to be back home again.
No doubt, no doubt. The PA Bruins this evening taking on the Beebe Badgers. The Beebe is a team that is a little bit, they're struggling a little bit this year compared to what they did a year ago. Last year, they were a 5-5 team, 4-2 in conference. Actually gave us a little bit of fits and drove down the field on us a couple times last year. But this year, they have a different record. They're 1-3 coming into the game. Their one win is against Lone Oak, where they won 49-7. But then they played Greenbrier, lost 54-33. Played Wynn, who Brooks and I were talking before the game.
We might just see them again.
I think we'll see Wynn again for sure. And they lost to Wynn 49-6. And then last week against Little Rock Christian, and talking to a couple of parents where their kids go to Little Rock Christian, they said that it was a tight ball game. I think it was 33-33 at one point in the game, and I think a safety happened or something a little strange. It ended up 44-33. So BB's going to come into the game probably with a little bit of confidence, looking back at what they did against Little Rock Christian. But the Bruins are rolling in, feeling good about themselves as well, wouldn't you say, Brooks?
I would say so. After that real high-scoring win last week, most of the substitutes played the second half, and the regulars got to rest a little bit. And it seemed like that's just kind of the way things operate around here in Bruin land is we do get the sportsmanship rules on a lot of teams during the season, and so the second teamers get to play quite a bit.
That they do. When you go ahead and you look at the season so far for the Bruins, Bruins were able to take on Sand Springs here in the first week. That was the last time we were here.
Yeah, it seemed like forever ago.
It does. It seems like it was last year instead of this year. And they were able to really put it on Sand Springs, and then we traveled out to Utah, where we definitely met our match in the East High Leopards. East High ended up beating the Bruins 37-23, and then we went to Paducah, Kentucky. Took on the
McCracken
County Mustangs, and that was pretty much a controlled game by PA, much like it was last week against Little Rock Fair. And now we continue to work our way into league play. These games count. BB, they've got an interesting way of attacking the game. It's definitely not as nouveau, as they say, right?
No, it's not.
As the spread offenses we see today, or the old run and shoot that PA runs, and they are a option team. Matter of fact, their starting quarterback, C.J. Caldwell, has attempted 4 passes in 4 games and completed all 4 of them.
That's a pretty good percentage.
That's not bad. Brooks and I were talking before the game. We were like, wow, that's batting 1,000 at the quarterback position. Not many quarterbacks can say that.
Not this stage of the season, for sure.
Yeah, the only problem is, Brooks, he has 92 yards.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference. But, they're a running team. They run option football. I was able to talk with my son. He said, we've got to be disciplined in what we do. You really look at what happened against East High. East High popped a couple of times against them because they were undisciplined. You look at Beebe Badgers. Khalil Anthony, running back, he's 5'10", 175. Taylor Boyce, who's a 5'6", 150-pound sophomore, is actually the leading rusher. And then Nathan Burnett, who's a running back, he's 5'9", 168 pounds, and he's a senior. Those are the backs for this evening. Boyce has 276 yards coming into the game, averaging 7.7 yards a carry. So that's nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not.
And then you look at Anthony. Anthony has 5 yards a carry, and Burnett has 7 yards a carry. And their carries are pretty equal. I would say that Anthony, the junior, he actually gets more carries, but Boyce has more yards. So we'll see some good option football this evening. It's going to be interesting to see if the PA Bruins stay disciplined. The key when you play against an option ball club, it's having 2 guys on the quarterback, 2 guys on the pitch, 2 guys on the dive, and you cover him up. You've got multiple people on him. And when we played against East High, we didn't have 2 people on the dive, 2 people on the quarterback, and 2 people on the pitch. And
Right.
that's why they were able to pop on the defense. Defensively, for BB, they're going to have their hands full this evening. This year, through 4 games, he's passed for 1,154 yards. I mean, what would
Let
you
us
say?
pray. Dear Holy One, thank you for this new day and for this wonderful evening. I ask that you be present here tonight and remind us that it's a privilege and a blessing for these 2 schools to gather as one community and unite on the field of competition. We are grateful for the safe travels of our friends from Beebe and ask that you be with them as they return home. We also give thanks to all the volunteers who have done so much to prepare for tonight's game. Grant to all the athletes and coaches the strength to pursue excellence during tonight's game. Help these 2 teams to compete with fairness in their hearts and minds. As we pray for the athletes, we ask that you protect them from injury and harm and move them to compete with a spirit of sportsmanship. Oh, gracious God, would you please provide us, young and old, with the endurance to pursue what is right through the practice of respect, responsibility, and integrity. May each of us here tonight, especially our students, be aware of your goodness in our lives and be truly thankful for all the gifts that you have given us. May all that we do here tonight please and honor you. We lift this prayer up in your name and give you all the praise and glory. Amen.
We direct your attention to the American flag located at the west end of the field. Please remain standing as Pulaski Academy freshmen Beebe Badgers honors our country with the singing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Miss Annika Landers. And now, under the direction of Mr. Lane Martins and led by junior drum major Anna Jones, the Pulaski Academy Blue Brigade will perform the Pulaski Academy Alma Mater.
All right, we're back here, Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium, about to kick off in about 3 minutes. BB's about to take the field as the Bruins are running to the other end of the field so they can have their entry. Before we had the national anthem and the invocation, we were talking about statistics. And when you look at how the Bruins have performed, Lane Hatcher has completed 60% of his passes for 1,154 yards.
That's
Your thoughts?
outstanding. That's outstanding for 4 ball games.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, he really has. He's got 17 touchdowns with 7 interceptions, and most of those interceptions were against East High.
You're right.
Because he was pressured the whole time, and some of those I wouldn't even blame on Lane.
Right.
And then you look from a rushing perspective. The Bruins have spread the ball around a good bit. Your primary guys are Jaron Watkins. He has 57 carries for 615 yards. Total average of 10.8 yards per carry. That's not too shabby.
No, that's not. Last year he had over 2,000, so he's well on his way to that mark again.
No doubt, no doubt. R.J. Anderson is next when it comes to yardage with 143. He's had 16 carries for an 8.9 average, and then Trey Adams he's had 24 carries for 72 yards with a 3-yard average. And those are mostly the guys that are going to see the ball this evening from a rushing perspective. When you look at passing and catching, you get to the receiving side of things. Trey Johnson has had an excellent season along with Brett Lynch. Both of those guys have Trey's had 14 catches for 282 yards, and then Brett Lynch, who has really found a way to get open, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's come on real strong this season for us.
No doubt. He's had 16 catches for 246 yards. Trey Johnson has 5 touchdowns, and Brett Lynch has 3. And then next would be Ja'Cory McMillan with 10 catches for 186 yards, and he has 2 touchdowns. So when you look at the PA receiving core, I mean it's so complete. That's what's just impressive. We're talking about the top 3 guys, but then you have Ray Jackson, Cameron Bland, Jaron Watkins, Hudson Henry, Nathan Biagioni. I mean those are all the guys that can play.
Yeah, that's 6 or 8 guys that are right there. They can substitute one for the other, and then there's not much of a fall off at all.
No, it really kind of looks like, what Coach Kelly's been trying to do is he's been running 2 sets of receivers in games where he feels like he has a good bit of control on things. And that's what's pretty impressive. So when you've got that kind of depth at receiver, think about it. Receiver runs down the field for PA. He runs at least 10 to 15 yards at a minimum.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would that do to your win, Brooks?
Oh, you don't want to know.
You don't want to know? You want to go give it a shot?
I'd be out of gas in about 2 trips.
I understand. I don't want to do it either. I don't want to play defensive back in this day and age. Think about it. Defensive back, they go ahead and they run him downfield, and then they send in another receiver, and then they run another one down the field on him. It's not easy being able to defend the PA Bruins with the schemes that they play, to say the least.
No, if you're playing PA, you best be in good shape.
You better be in good shape is right. Well, the Bruins just took the field. BB's on their sideline. We're about to start the game here shortly. The captains haven't walked out yet. So we're going to take a quick break here. You're listening to Bruin Football on 96.5 FM The Answer.
Yeah, they came out. I don't know what I was.
It's a kickoff for the Badgers. It's the Bruins. 28 Watkins.
We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. Bruins about to start the game. We've got Beebe lined up there, set to kick off. They've huddled up right now while the Bruins receiving team has huddled up. Beebe spreads the field with their kickoff team. Bruins have Jaron Watkins and Cameron Bland deep. And the kick is off. Kick is to Cameron Bland. Ball bounces past Cameron. He fields it on the 11-yard line, but unfortunately his momentum takes him out of bounds. So BB's going to have 1st and 10 The Bruins are 1st and 10 on their own 11-yard line.
Yeah, that kick was kind of just misfielded, and so the Bruins start out in the hole.
Well, he squibbed it. You know, he didn't get the ball up in the air, and he just kind of rolled it, which was a really wise thing to do. Yeah. Lane Hatcher is playing quarterback. He's in the shotgun. He's got an empty backfield, 3 receivers to his right. Hatcher calls for the ball, snaps, looking downfield, goes down the middle of the field. Ball is incomplete. The ball was intended for Ray Jackson. Right there, it looked like the Bruins had an opportunity to hit those seams in the coverage that Beebe was in. Hatcher's getting back into the shotgun. He's once again in an empty backfield. He's got 2 receivers to his left, 3 receivers to his right. Hatcher takes the ball. He looks to his right. He's getting pressure. He decides to run it. Takes it out past the 20. Gets all the way to the 21-yard line. So that should be about a first down for the Bruins.
Yeah, Lane saw an opportunity there to tuck the ball and run. I'm glad he did because he
with the space he had.
Yeah, was a good pickup on that first down.
So now the Bruins line up. Jaron Watkins is to Lane Hatcher's left with 2 receivers to the right and left. He hands it off to Jaron Watkins up the middle on a trap play, and Jaron fights his way all the way down to the 29-yard line of the Bruins. Number 73, Hunter Newman, for the Beebe Badgers, brought him down. Backside defensive end pursuing the ball from the backside.
Nice pickup, about 7 yards for Jaron.
It was. Hatcher back in the shotgun. Jaron Watkins, tailback. Hatcher drops back. He throws a quick hitch to Ray Jackson. Ball's caught on about the 36-yard line. Tackle was made by Gage House, cornerback, and Taylor Boyce. Taylor Boyce going 2 ways tonight. He's playing on the offensive side of the ball, Brooks, and the defensive side.
Yeah, he'll be worn out by the time the guy.
Hatcher takes the ball in the snap. He's looking deep. He's looking for a stretch play. Oh, Ray Jackson was open, but the ball was overthrown as Ray Jackson streaks down the right-hand side. Number 5, Gage House, was on the coverage. So you get 2nd and 10. Bruins are making substitutions. Brett Lynch is in the game. Jaron Watkins is lined up to Lane Hatcher's right, 3 receivers to his left. Hatcher hands it off to Watkins. Watkins bounces out to the left. He takes it wide. He gets tackled for about an 8-yard gain, so it's going to be 3rd down and about a short 2. So C.J. Caldwell, number 1, who plays quarterback for the Beebe Badgers, was in on the tackle. So Beebe, they're lining up basically at what it looks like to be a cover 3 look. Hatcher lines up in an empty backfield. Gets a snap, looks to his right, throws into the flat to Cameron Bland. Cameron Bland makes the catch, and he gains all of about 1 yard. Tackle on the play by Taylor Boyce for the Beebe Badgers. So the Bruins are moving the football at the pace that they regularly do it.
Mm-hmm.
Beebe looks like they're playing very disciplined football on their side of the field. Bruins are looking to the sideline to Coach Kelly to see what's going on. They line up in an empty set with 3 receivers to the right. Beebe goes ahead and lines up in basically a cover 3-man look. Hatcher gets the call, looks to his right, has something. Down the right-hand side, he has Brett Lynch. Brett Lynch turns it up the field on a quick pass and gets it all the way down to the Beebe 30-yard line. Nathan Clifton, number 14, was in on the tackle for the Beebe Badgers.
Yeah, Brett was wide open right there on down the sidelines and picked up a real nice game for the Bruins.
Great choice route right there. He had 2 receivers running down the field. They covered the defense. The Beebe Badgers covered the deep route, and he just threw it to the underneath route to Brett Lynch. Hatcher's looking for the call. He's got a jet sweep over to Jaron Watkins. Jaron Watkins flips it over to R.J. Anderson, who gets tackled for a 1-yard loss. Number 1, C.J. Caldwell, the quarterback also for the Beebe Badgers, made the tackle. That was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
That was a nice open field tackle, and R.J.'s got some moves on him and wasn't able to shake the quarterback.
You regularly take your best
CJ.
athlete and put him at quarterback, don't you, when you play run option, and that's what they've done. Hatcher's in the backfield. He's in an empty backfield more or less with a double wing look. R.J. Anderson and J.R. Watkins are to his right and left. Hatcher gets the snap, looks downfield. He's getting some pressure. Looks like he can run it, and he is going to run it. He tucks it down. He takes it past the 20. He takes it to the 10. He gets all the way to the 9 or 10-yard line for the Beebe Badgers and runs out of bounds. So a nice 20-yard run by Lane Hatcher. When you give that much space, you kind of look like the Hogs last week against Texas A&M, right?
Right. You know, this is one aspect of the game that I think Lane has improved on. I'm sure the coaches have talked with him, but he's tucking the ball in and taking the opportunity to run the ball more than he has in the past.
He is. I expect a run right here with Jaron Watkins up the middle, considering the formation. You got Jaron Watkins in the backfield. Oh, nope, it was going to be a pass. Flag on the play. Illegal procedure
Bruins.
on the Bruins.
Well, that didn't help us any, but maybe it didn't hurt us too bad.
No, it shouldn't. It's still first down. It's going to be first down and goal. Bruins are getting the ball just short of the 15-yard line.
Well, we can say that'll just give us a little bit more operating room.
That it will on the pass plays. The Bruins go ahead, line up. Lane Hatcher's got Jaron Watkins to his left. Looks like the Beebe Badgers are showing blitz. Lane gets rid of the ball. He throws it right over the middle. Oh, he just lofted it just a hair bit too far in the end zone for Brett Lynch. Kind of threw it off his back foot. Number 4, Taylor Boyce, was on the coverage. Beebe was coming with some heat from the outside right there, Brooks.
Just missed the Brett by just an arm's length. Almost caught it.
He was open. The blitz definitely opened the doors. Jaron Watkins takes the ball up the middle real quick. Takes it all the way down to the 3-yard line, but there's a flag on the play. Tackle on the play by Taylor Boyce and Gage House for the Beebe Badgers. Once again, offsides. Bruins shooting themselves in the foot as this game gets started. So they'll repeat the down. The Bruins started this series on the 10-yard line, and now on the 20-yard line, they've lost a down.
Yeah, we're going the wrong direction.
Going in the wrong direction is right. BB's playing sound football. They're lining up when it looks like to be more of a 3-4 kind of defense. Line up in man coverage. Hatcher is in the backfield in the shotgun with Jaron Watkins. He takes a handoff. Watkins up the middle. Watkins pops. He gets all the way down to the 8-yard line. So a gain of about 11 for Jaron Watkins and the PA Bruins. So the Bruins are now looking at a third and about a short 10 is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I'd say a short 10.
Hatcher lines up. He's got 3 receivers to his right, 1 receiver to his left. Jaron Watkins in the backfield. He hands it off to Jaron Watkins. Jaron takes off to his left, but he gets dragged down. He is hunted down by number 4, Taylor Boyce. Excellent play, just hunting down Jaron Watkins.
That young man showed some speed. He matched Jaron step for step, and usually going around the end, Jaron usually gets the advantage there, but not this time.
No doubt. So it's 4th down and goal on the 13-yard line. Big play for the PA Bruins here. Hatcher's empty backfield. He's got some pressure, and he dumps it off to Ray Jackson for the touchdown. A little too easy right there, Brooks, on that play.
Yeah, I had a linebacker on the coverage there, and
taking care of the mismatch, right?
Yeah, they did.
Braden Healy was trying to cover Ray Jackson. That's like me and you going out there and trying to play, isn't it, Brooks?
Yes, absolutely. It sure is.
So the Bruins are going to go for it on the PAT, and they're going to go for the 2-point play. Lane Hatcher's alone in the backfield. He dumps it off on a shovel pass to Jaron Watkins. Jaron Watkins takes it right and scores on the touchdown. On the 2-point play. So the Bruins take the lead 8-0 with 7:32 left in the first quarter. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Bruin Football on 96.5 FM The Answer. We're back here at the PA Bruin Beebe Badgers ball game. Coach Kelly's about to send his kickoff team or onside kick team out onto the field. PA Bruins drove all the way from their 11-yard line down the field for a score with 7:32 left in the first quarter, making the score 6-0, and then they were able to take advantage of the 2-point play and make it the score 8-0. Ray Jackson had the touchdown catch from Lane Hatcher. Onside kick done by the Bruins, and BB has covered. Number 4, who's made a bunch of plays already and he hasn't even touched the ball yet, Taylor Boyce, has been all over the place.
Yeah, he's been all over the field tonight.
What's been impressive about him is his demeanor out on the field has been strong from a physical and speed perspective, but he's only a sophomore. That's what's impressive. Now he's lining up at quarterback. So we're going to see what kind of discipline the Bruins have in taking care of this option. Bruin defense is out on the field. And at quarterback actually is number 11, Mason Walker. Coming in an unbalanced set. Hand it off up the middle. They gain about 3 yards.
I'm going to say just the entire defensive line on that tackle.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know what they're doing. The Badgers are lining up. They've got a lot of weight on their front hand, and they're coming off hard. They've probably watched the East High game and are probably running a couple of the plays that East High has run.
Right. You run down the last scoring drive after this.
Badgers come to the line, 2 backs in the backfield, 2 receivers to the right. And you hand it off up the middle. And number 7, Nathan Burnett, running back, 5'9", 168 pounds, gets a nice gain of about, I'd probably say about 5 or 6 yards. So it's 3rd down and short.
My favorite linebacker on that tackle was Brooks Walton, number 20 for the.
There you go.
That last drive by the Bruins was 14 plays and covered 89 yards. 12-yard TD pass by Lane Hatcher to Ray Jackson. Took 4 minutes, 8 seconds off.
BB lines up another unbalanced set with 2 backs in the backfield. They've been tackling their right side. They hand it off to the fullback up the middle, and he gets nothing. He may actually have lost a yard. Well, no, they're going to mark it that he's probably going to get the first.
That was Mr. Cameron Fonseca on tackle there for the Bruins.
First down, BB. So it's going to be 1st and 10 on the PA 42-yard line. Bruin defense needs to buck up like they did on that last play a little bit earlier on. So the Badgers change the formation. They flip it over to where it's on the PA Bruin right side and the Badger left side. They go ahead and they run a bootleg to the right, and they pass it. And they hit number 6 wide open in the middle of the field. And he brings it down all the way down to number 3, to the 3-yard line of the PA Bruins. That's Luke Oakley, a 5'9", 146-pound junior on the route.
That was an outstanding pass and catch by BB. That was quarterback still batting 1,000. Passing attempt so far this year.
No doubt, no doubt. So BB's lining up. They've got 2 backs in the backfield. Put man in motion. They just hand it up the middle to the fullback. Fullback gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, but he probably gets a gain of about 2 yards. mostly from PA Bruin tacklers giving him momentum going forward, wouldn't you say, Brooks?
I would say so.
So the Bruins being a little exposed here on some of the dive plays and then having their eyes in the backfield and someone throwing the ball over their head.
Yeah.
That's how you wake up, right?
Yeah, that got their attention.
Beebe lines up. They've got two backs in the backfield. Caldwell, back jumps. That's going to back them up. There's an opportunity that PA needed.
Nathan Burnett.
Number 7, Nathan Burnett.
Offense.
Nathan Burnett jumped off sides or had some illegal motion. The Bruins get a break there. Ball gets put on the 6-yard line of the PA Bruins. In at quarterback, I believe, is number 1, C.J. Caldwell. They line up in a stacked backfield, straight T. Badgers look like they're going to run some type of option on this play, and it's actually an option pass. And he's open in the back in the back of the end zone, but the ball was overthrown. They were throwing it to number 42, Parker Payne, tight end for the Badgers.
Dylan Nosler was on the coverage there.
Yeah, he got sucked up trying to take care of his option responsibilities. Got to look at your key, read your keys. Outside guy that's playing outside of the tight end, regularly a cornerback, and he should be keying on the tight end to see what's going on. So the Badgers line back up in the same formation, 2 tight ends, 3 backs in the backfield, and a T. Caldwell's under center. He goes ahead, and it's an option play. And he pitches it off to number 4 to Taylor Boyce.
Down, Beebe.
Touchdown, Beebe. Boyce took it around the end. The Bruins had the play covered at the dive and the quarterback, but the pitch was uncovered.
Yeah, the pitch was uncovered, and Beebe Badger running back went on his own. Even Hayden Henry was on the coverage there, or on the tackle, but it was late. It didn't stop him about a yard deep. Doesn't help.
Beebe lining up for the kick. Kick is good. Number 10, Daniel Martinez, put it straight through the uprights. So with 4:56 left in the first quarter, the Bruins are winning 8-7. We'll take another break. You're listening to 96.5 FM The Answer. We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. This is Rick David and Brooks Beasley. Well, right now, the PA Bruins are winning 8-7 over the Beebe Badgers. Badgers have taken the field with their kickoff team. They're in a huddle. Daniel Martinez is the kicker for the Badgers, getting ready to kick the ball. The Bruins gave up roughly about a probably about a 50-yard drive right down the field with some pretty sound football by the Beebe Badgers. Martinez spreads out his kickoff team, and he kicks it deep. Puts this one up in the air to Cameron Bland. Cameron Bland catches the ball on the 25. He's at the 30, where he's tackled and pushed backwards at the 30-yard line of the PA Bruins. So the Bruin offense taking the field after a little sloppy play. They were able to The Bruins are able to kind of regroup on the play. They had Beebe Badgers had 7 plays for 52 yards. It took 2 minutes and 32 seconds off of the clock. So the Bruins coming to the ball. Lane Hatcher's alone in the backfield in an empty set. He's got 3 receivers to his left, 1 receiver to his right. The 1 receiver is Brett Lynch. He looks to his right, and he's getting hurried. He just has to dump it off. Number 6, Luke Oakley, for the Badgers.
Yeah.
Put a lot of pressure right
Yeah,
there,
a lot of
Brooks.
pressure, yeah. And that was really a good play by Lane throwing the ball out of bounds over somebody's head, just getting rid of it so he went back for 5 or 10 yards.
Yeah, Hatcher scrambled to his right and just dumped it off. That's what you got to do in that situation.
Mm.
They kind of had him outmanned up front. Bruins are at the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Jaron Watkins up the middle. Jaron Watkins pops. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20.
He's
10.
off to the races.
5. Touchdown, Bruins. Excellent play right there by Coach Kelly. Excellent call. Excellent play by Jaron Watkins. The offensive line opened up a big space right up the middle of the Badger defense. Really taking the wind out of the sail to the Badgers early.
Yeah. That was Mr. If you're even, he's leaving, Jaron Watkins on
No
that
doubt.
touchdown run.
He was getting chased right there by number 6, Luke Oakley, but he didn't catch him.
No, he certainly didn't.
So the Bruins are going for the 2-point conversion again. They're lined up in an empty backfield. You have 4 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. The 1 receiver to the right is Jaron Watkins. DB's lining up in a man coverage. Middle of the field's pretty wide open here. He rolls to his right, and he throws it to Jaron Watkins on a quick looping route, and the 2-point conversion is good. Excellent catch by Jaron Watkins as the pass by Hatcher was a little bit wide and outside. But Watkins made an athletic grab and pulled it in. So the Bruins quickly strike. The score is now 16-7 with 4 minutes and 34 seconds left in the first quarter. Total plays on that were 2 for a 69-yard drive. Jaron Watkins with a nice long run right there for 69 yards. So the Bruins get another opportunity here, get the ball back with an onside kick. Beebe, well aware of the tactics of Coach Kelly due to their history with the Bruins. And the Badgers have their hands team taking the field.
Rick, that was a real fast-scoring drive. Only 2 plays, covered 69 yards.
Unbelievable.
Took 22 seconds off the clock, so that's one of their fastest ones that they've had for the season, I do believe.
So Muya is in to kick. Onside's kick team is on the field. Coach Kelly gives signals. And he goes to his left instead of to his right. But the ball is an opportunity, and the Bruins, I think, get it. Yes, the Bruins get it.
No.
Wesley Wise got his hands on the ball.
Oh, okay. The ref
Signaled in the
wrong-
direction that
the
Beebe
wrong
was
way.
getting the ball. But I think he was corrected by his comrades in arms there.
Yeah, he was going the wrong way.
And said, hey, Bruins get this ball. So the Bruins take advantage of the onside kick. Badgers take the field on defense. And Coach Kelly goes ahead and sends his offense out on the field. So Hatcher huddles up as they do at the beginning of every series.
Okay.
And the offense breaks out. Looks like they're going to come out in empty set, which they are. 4 receivers are going to be to Hatcher's right, 1 receiver to the left. Hatcher overseeing the BB defense, takes a snap, looking downfield, looking right in the middle of the field, but there is a flag on the play as he completes the ball to Brett Lynch. Ball would have landed on the 20-yard line for the Beebe Badgers, but it looks like it's going to come back due to a holding penalty.
Holding offense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holding on the offense. So the Bruins make a great play and shoot themselves in the foot. So this is going to back up the Bruins to the 41-yard line of the PA Bruins.
You've just joined us. We have 4:21 left in the first quarter, and the score is Pulaski Academy Bruins 16 and the Beebe Badgers 7.
Quick strike by the Bruins, to say the least, on the last drive. Would have been a quick strike here. Hatcher goes ahead, gets in the shotgun. He's in an empty backfield, 4 receivers to his right. He takes a snap, rolls out to his right. He's looking downfield, hits a flare route onto the sideline. Roughed up a little bit right there, out of bounds by number 22, a little late, was Ray Jackson.
Yeah, that was Alex Boyce doing the roughing up on the sideline there, but no flag was called.
Gain of about 6 yards. A quick little Flare route. Hatcher's in the backfield with R.J. Anderson. Got 3 receivers to his left. Takes a snap. He's looking downfield. Pressure's coming, but they throw it right over into the middle of the field for a touchdown. Goes Trey Johnson. What an excellent play. BB decided to send the house. Lane Hatcher recognized the blitz. Trey Johnson ran a post route into the middle of the field. Hatcher recognized it, just lofted it up.
Yeah,
let Johnson run right under it, huh,
he
Brooks?
was wide open, as they say.
Wide open is right. So now the Bruins leading 22-7.
You know what I think, Rick?
With 4:03 left.
I think that first score by BB just riled up the Bruins a little bit. So they've had 2 quick scores just back to back here.
Well, the Bruins go ahead and they line up for the point after touchdown. But as they usually do, they quick set it and get BB to jump off sides.
Encroachment. Defense.
So encroachment by the Beebe Badgers. Puts the ball a little bit closer. Hatcher's in for the point after touchdown. Wesley Wise holding. Snap comes to Wise. Kick is up.
And
it looks like it's good. So the Bruins taking a commanding lead now at 23-7 with 4:03 left in the first quarter. We'll take another quick break. You're listening to We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. The Bruins score quick again. They score in 2 plays, 59 yards. It was a 59-yard pass, basically, or 50-yard pass to Trey Johnson from Lane Hatcher. Hatcher's back in, though. He's playing kicker right now, and they look to hopefully do another onside kick. Hatcher is it on the ball on the tee, and he kicks it right up the middle. The Bruins go ahead, and they possibly could get on this. Nope. Looks like the Badgers get on it. Number 6, Luke Oakley, fumbled the ball a little bit, but then he was able to fall into it quickly.
I thought the Bruins were going to get that one. It was one of those slow dribblers trying to go 10 yards, and I thought it had already gone 10, and Bruins were going to pounce on it, but the BB Badger got on top of it first.
Yeah, Oakley looked like he was a little unsure of himself getting on that ball. It's one of the reasons why he fumbled it around. So BB comes back out onto the field on offense. They're lined up with 2 receivers to the left, 2 backs in the backfield, 1 tight end, 2 tight ends in formation. They've handed off up the middle for a gain of nothing. I believe that the Bruins have woken up on defense and realized that they need to stop the dive man because he gashed them on that last on that last play. Brooks Walton, number 20 for the Bruins, was in on the tackle. BB's lining up in multiple formations, unbalanced formations, shifting all of the gaps and holes away from what the Bruins would expect. So the Badgers line up once again in unbalanced formation, tight ends to the right with 2 receivers to the right, 2 backs in the backfield. Badgers hand it off up the middle again, and it goes for nothing. So it's going to be 3rd down and most likely a long 7 yards. That was Wesley Wise, number 7 for the Bruins, in on the tackle. So number 1, C.J. Caldwell, comes into the game. Playing quarterback was Mason Walker on the previous play. So now BB lines up in a shotgun. 2 backs to the right and to the left. They're in more of a spread type formation. They run the bootleg. And he sacks. Brooks Walton makes an excellent play right there. He's sacked for a loss of about 10.
They opened the gate and Brooks Walton ran right through it and was on the quarterback before he knew it.
Well, they were running the same bootleg play that they got some yards on in the first series,
Oh.
but I don't think that was going to work the second time.
Not that time.
Catch the Bruins once, but you don't catch them twice.
Yeah.
Coach Wood will have those guys prepared. There's no doubt about it. So Beebe wisely goes ahead with 4th down and about 20. They decide to punt the ball. And back for the Beebe Badgers, I believe, is number 18, Connor Beaker, running back he's a running back / punter for the Badgers. So the Bruins come back out on the field as they don't field the punt, and the punt goes out of bounds at the Bruin 36-yard line. Hatcher's going to be in the shotgun with Jaron Watkins lined up in the backfield. Watkins is going to be to Hatcher's right. He's got 3 receivers to his right in a stacked position. Hatcher looks to his right. He quick throws to Ja'Cory Williams. Ja'Cory takes the ball up the field. Oh, he loses a shoe along the way, but he gets a gain of about 9.
Yeah,
Ja'Cory McMillan does an excellent job of running without a shoe on.
He turned around, and I guess his cleats or whatever got kind of stuck in the AstroTurf here, and
9-yard gain.
came off. Oh,
wow, look at the Bruins here. They're lining up in basically a PAT 2-point play. And the play doesn't get off because I believe the Badgers end up calling a timeout.
Dead ball. Neutral zone infraction.
Oh, the Bruins weren't lined up appropriately. Basically what they did there is they ran the swinging gate in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bruins look like, and still look like, they're going to run the swinging gate. They obviously see something here. You have 4 guys to the right, with Lane Hatcher being one of them. He fakes a handoff, and he's got a man wide open deep. But he doesn't take it to him. He throws it to Trey Johnson. You had Cameron Bland running down the field pretty much wide open, but Lane Hatcher couldn't get his feet set, and so he ends up throwing it low. Gage House, number 5, is in on the play for the Badgers. So the Bruins line up in the swinging gate again. You've got Cameron Bland, Jaron Watkins, and Hudson Henry at center. He runs a quick little flare blast to Jaron Watkins. Watkins is going to take it around to the side of the swinging gate, which was to the left, and he gets a gain of about 25 yards. And a player is down for the Beebe Badgers on that play, right as he had tackled Jaron Watkins.
That looks like number 73, Hunter Newman for the Badgers.
Hunter Newman, Badgers is down.
You're not familiar with his swinging gate formation. You've got about 7 players on one side of the field and about 4 on the other, and you've got the center who doesn't pass the ball or center the ball between his leg. He just tosses it back to the quarterback.
And he's an eligible receiver. It was Hudson Henry, number 84. So all 4 of those guys are eligible, including Lane Hatcher. So when he pitched it out to Jaron Watkins, who was running towards the lineman on the left-hand side, basically what happened, Hatcher became an eligible receiver at that time too. But Watkins took it around the left side behind the offensive line and got a really nice gain of about 20 yards.
You know, you got to be prepared for all types of formations when you play the Bruins. That's one of them.
There's no doubt. Well, with this injury, we're going to take a injury timeout here, brought to you by Central Arkansas Well, while we were on break, Coach Kelly ran a quick play, a trap play to R.J. Anderson. R.J. Anderson brought that ball all the way down to the 10-yard line of the Beebe Badgers. The Bruins have first and goal. Lane Hatcher's in the shotgun with R.J. Anderson to his left. Two receivers flanking both sides of the field. Hatcher takes the ball. They're blitzing him, and he just lofts it up to Ja'Cory McMillan, wide open in the end zone. And the Bruins score again, taking another 6 points and putting them on the scoreboard. So it's now 29-7 with 20 seconds left in the first quarter. And it looks like the Bruins will do the PAT as opposed to the 2-point conversion. Wesley Wise comes out on the field with his...
I think BB's kind of shell-shocked right now.
Yeah, they had a little something going early on. Wise is taking the snap, puts it on the tee, Lane Hatcher puts it up, and it's through the uprights. So the Bruins taking the lead, 30-7, with 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Well, Brooks, this game got out of hand quick.
Certainly did. You know, like you said, it was 8-7, and since then it's just been all Bruins.
And really, the reason why is because the defense decided to start shutting down the option play up the middle. Yeah. Where BB was getting their yards on their first series was just the dive play. They were kind of gashing the defense, and the defense was a little timid in how they were approaching the option. Then, you know, they threw that pass, which was just a quick waggle pass out of an option play, and they dumped it over the middle to an open receiver and took it to the 3-yard line, and they ran an option play and, you know, barely gained a yard for the touchdown. But since then, they haven't done anything.
No, they certainly haven't.
And then the Bruins have had an onslaught of big plays. So the Bruins, they go ahead and they line up in an onside kick position for down the center. And kicking for the Bruins is Trevor James. He's going to be kicking to his left, it appears. And he kicks. He sends a nice little kick, goes in the air, but the ball is caught by the Badgers. It was number 15, Grant Jackson, the tight end for Beebe Badgers, who fielded the ball. The ball is going to start on the PA 49-yard line.
That last drive for the Bruins was 5 plays, 64 yards, 10-yard pass by Lane Hatcher to McMillan, and it took 1 minute and 36 seconds off the clock.
So the Badgers line up. Mason Walker's playing quarterback. He's at 2 backs in the backfield. He's got an unbalanced set to his right with 2 receivers to his right. Sends a man in motion. They run it down the line, give it out to number 7. No. Walker tries to keep it, and he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage by, I believe, Wesley Wise. A gain of about 2 on that play. It's going to be 2nd and 8. So we're come to the end of the first quarter. The Bruins are winning over the Beebe Badgers 30-7. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Bruin Football on 96.5 FM The Answer. We're back. Beebe lines up. Quarterback sprints to his left, Caldwell. And he lets a receiver get open. Number 6 on the bootleg to the left. Luke Oakley got behind the secondary. Fortunately, that didn't burn us there, Brooks.
No, and believe it or not, on an incompletion for the season. Here we are 5 games into the season. That was his first incompletion.
So he's got 6 passes, right? And
Yeah.
then he's completed only 5 of them.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bringing it down, to say the least. So it's 3rd down and about 8 yards. Badgers line up in the same formation. 2 backs in the backfield flanking Caldwell. Hands it off. Nope, he decides to keep it. Ball goes up the middle, but he's stuck by Brooks Walton at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 4th down and 8. Right there, they just tried to do a little quarterback counter. Tried running it up the middle. Walton wasn't fooled.
I think Brooks is going to need a little bit bigger shoulder pads. I tell you what, I'd want something. He hit him hard that time.
Yeah, he got low and brought him down.
Of course, these pads and equipment they make nowadays are way better than when you and I used to play.
No doubt. So Beebe lines up in an unbalanced set, 2 backs in the backfield. The quarterback, Caldwell, sprints to his left, and he's sacked by Wesley Wise for a loss of about 12 yards. So, ball gets turned over on downs. It was 4th down there. So now it's 1st and 10 for the Bruins on the Beebe 42-yard line. We've got 1st and 10. Offense is lined up in the middle of the field in a huddle. Coach Kelly giving Hatcher signals on the sideline. Hatcher lines up in the huddle. The huddle broken out. The Bruins line up. Jaron Watkins in the backfield, along with Hatcher. Watkins is to his right, 3 receivers to Hatcher's left. Timeout by the Bruins. Coach Kelly deciding to take a little bit of a break right there. Well, you know, that was a big turning point for the Beebe Badgers right there from an emotional perspective.
Yeah, it was. That's hard to turn the ball over right there and on downs.
Yeah, well, they understand that they need to be able to get the 1st down there. That's why they went forward on 4th down. With the score being 30-7 with 11 minutes left to play in the 2nd quarter, they realized if they want to have any chance,
they had to do something.
They had to do something. They had to put the ball in the air, which is not going to be their strong suit.
No.
And it's a strong suit for the PA Bruins to play against a passing team.
Yeah.
And BB caught PA early on with the pass, but I don't think they're going to catch him again. Do you agree, Brooks?
I don't think they will either tonight. But, you know, if BB wants to try to get back into this game, they're going to have to pass. I don't think they can do it by running.
Well, Bruins are back out on the field. Got 3 receivers to the left. Hatcher in the shotgun with Watkins to the right. Hatcher in the backfield. Hatcher gets a snap. He's looking to his left. He throws a quick slant to Nathan Biagioni. It's going to be a gain of about 11 yards for the 1st down. Bruins are getting back to the line of scrimmage. They swap the formation. 3 receivers to Lane Hatcher's right. Jaron Watkins is to his right. Hatcher's looking at the defense. Gets a snap. Hands it off to Jaron Watkins. Watkins just bounces out to the left. He cuts it back. He gets upfield. He's all the way down to the 5-yard line for the Badgers. Nice run right there by Jaron Watkins. It looked like he was going to run it up the middle. Bounces it outside, dances around a couple of BB players, and gets the ball all the way actually to about the 7-yard line.
Looks like
the Badgers.
Looked like C.J. Caldwell ran him out of bounds there.
So the Bruins are lining up with Jaron Watkins in the backfield, all alone. Looks like it can be a snap to him. He catches the ball. Looks like he's going to pass it, and he does pass it to a wide-open receiver who I believe is Trey Johnson. Yes, it is Trey Johnson. So there's a little trickeration for you with Jaron Watkins lining up at quarterback and playing quarterback.
Well, I think that's his first pass of the year, maybe.
I believe so.
100%.
I believe so.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few guys attempt passes, but actually Jaron completed it. The only person I've seen complete a pass for the Bruins really is Wesley Wise. And we've had a ton of guys try and complete passes.
Right.
So it was good to see Jaron Watkins go ahead and get that. PAT is up, and it is good. So the Bruins now take the lead. 37-7 with 10:45 left in the second quarter. Well, we're going to take a break before this next kick. You're listening to 96.5 FM, The Answer. We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. The Bruins are winning 37-7 over the Beebe Badgers. It's 10:45 left in the second half. Bruins just went on a 3-play, 42-yard drive. It was a 7-yard touchdown pass by Jaron Watkins to Trey Johnson. So Hatcher puts the ball on the tee, and he decides to kick it deep. He kicks it to Khalil Anthony. Anthony fields the ball on the 5-yard line, and he gets all the way to the looks like the 2-yard line. 20-yard line, I'm sorry.
That one going to stay.
At the 19, looks like.
Yeah. So,
First down.
Bruins come back out on defense.
Hang on, let me get my referee in
Badgers
position
come out
over
with
here.
Caldwell playing quarterback. They're lining up in a little bit of a spread formation here. Got 2 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right, 1 back in the backfield with the tight end. Caldwell gets under center, puts a man in motion, and they run the jet sweep. Jet sweep goes to, I believe, number 4, Taylor
Up
Boyce,
easy! Up
for no
easy!
gain,
Here
or
we
gain of
go.
about 2, sorry.
Second down.
So it's 2nd down and 8.
Second down.
Bruin defense playing fast, getting to the ball.
Aiden Henry made the tackle on that last play, Rick, and still having an outstanding night tonight.
Yeah, he should. You know, when you're playing safety against an option team like this, or a team that likes to run the ball, you can come downhill, leave it up to the cornerbacks to really cover those wide receivers. So Beebe comes out in an unbalanced set. They start running the ball to the left. And once again, it's Wesley Wise knifing through and getting to the quarterback on the option. Caldwell had nowhere to go right there.
Cover your pad up. Cover your pads up.
They seem to be alternating the quarterbacks, you know, between Boyce, Mason Walker, and Caldwell. Now they bring in C.J. Caldwell. Caldwell's in the shotgun. They hand it off on a quick jet sweep to Boyce. And Boyce is tackled for a gain of about 1.
Like the first player on the stop for the Bruins was 47.
Cameron Fonseca in on the tackle. So, BB decides to punt it here. Connor Beaker lines up at punter. Badgers running someone on the field to help out with the punt team. Bruins lined up in safe punt return. Badgers trying to get the call from the sideline. And it looks like there's some confusion. So a timeout is called by the Badgers. We'll take another break here while the PA Bruins are winning 37-7.
Okay.
With 8:31 left in the second quarter. You're listening to
All right, Bo.
We're back here at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium with the Bruins leading 37-7 with 8:31 left in the second quarter. BB's attempting a punt right now to a safe punt defense for the Bruins. Oh, it's a bad snap, but he gets it off. Beekert gets the ball all the way down to about the, looks like it's going to get to the 30-yard line. Nice little roll. So the Bruins will get the ball in their own 30-yard line. Excellent punt by Connor Beekert to back up the Bruins. Good stand right there by the defense, Brooks.
Very good stand. That's any good when they stop the opponent. That's any good stand, in my opinion. And right now, BB just they just can't seem to generate any offense, and you got to hand it to the PA defense for that.
Yeah, the PA defense looked like they came out a little slow, not ready. But now the offense is on the field, and Hatcher's got two backs in the backfield. Calling for the ball. Snap, and they run a quick little shovel pass right up the middle to Hudson Henry. That was an impressive play for a gain of about 9. And number 1, C.J. Caldwell, one of the quarterbacks for the Beebe Badgers, was in on the tackle.
Along with number 38, and I don't have a listing for him for the BB Badgers.
So Hatcher goes ahead, gets in the shotgun. It looks like he's more or less in a double wing with Anderson and Henry. In the backfield almost with him. He dumps it off to Cameron Bland. Cameron Bland takes it on a sweep to the right side. He's run out of bounds on the Bruin 47-yard line, so that's going to be a first down for the Bruins. He was run out of bounds by number 5, Gage House. So Hatcher's back in the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right. One of the receivers to the right is more or less a slot player, and it's Hudson Henry. Hatcher looks to the sideline. He dumps off another shovel play to Hudson Henry, and Hudson takes the ball upfield, and he gets all the way to about the BB 45. But there was a flag on the play. It'd be a holding penalty, Brooks.
That's not good.
And on the tackle was Luke Oakley.
Hold on.
Along with
I believe Cade Harlan was also,
on the tackle there.
So the Bruins are going to get backed up. So they were going to have the ball on the BB 45. Now they're getting backed up to their own 45. So it will be first down and 12 for the Bruin offense. Coach Kelly signaling the calls to the offense. Offense is getting lined up. Looks like Jaron Watkins will be in at quarterback again. And he will be all alone. Hatcher flanked out to the right. In an empty set, here comes Hatcher on a quick little jet sweep look, but nope. Jaron Watkins takes the ball, keeps it himself, and he's brought down back at the line of scrimmage. But we have another flag.
Yeah, I believe we're going to have an illegal block back by number 71 for the Bruins, Wesley Coleman.
Block in the back.
Yeah, Wesley Coleman
Offense.
popped that guy in the back. Can't get that.
Nope, can't do that.
So the Bruins are going to get backed up again. After a gain of about 1, going to be negated by a 10-yard penalty. BB coaches talking to the refs, trying to figure out what they want to do. Look, there's a little confusion on what they want to do or what the call is. Well, if I'm the Badgers, I'm backing that thing up. Give me every opportunity to get field position, play a little softer, and play a little harder on defense if I'm the Badgers. So Watkins is still in at quarterback, and flanked off to his left is Hatcher. He fakes it to Hatcher, and he keeps it himself. Watkins bounces to the left. He keeps his feet after stumbling, and he gains about 8 yards. So the Bruins now have second and about 14. Looks like we have another injury here. This is one of their quarterbacks. C.J. Caldwell for the Badgers is injured. Holds his left arm. So while We have a player down on the field. We're going to take an injury timeout, brought to you by Central Arch. We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium, where C.J. Caldwell is walking off of the field. Hopefully he's doing okay. Looks like he was grabbing onto his left arm, one of the quarterbacks for the Badgers. They wouldn't like to see that. That'll just get number 11, Mason Walker, in the game a little. So the Bruins still on offense. It's second down and 14. Wayne Hatcher is in the shotgun with Jaron Watkins. Watkins now playing running back as opposed to quarterback. Hatcher's calling for the snap. Takes a snap. Looking downfield. Dumps it off in the middle of the field to Cameron Bland. Cameron Bland should be good for a first down as he gets all the way to the 41-yard line of the Badgers. Gage House for the Badgers was on the tackle. Bruin offensive line looking to the sideline to Coach Kelly to get the call. Kelly's starting to signal in. Wide receivers are lining up tight to the line, tight to the formation. You got 3 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left, empty backfield. It's a shovel pass to Cameron Bland. Cameron Bland stutters. He takes the ball to the left, and he gets all of about probably 3 or 4 yards on the play, and he's run out of bounds by number 5, Gage House for the Badgers. That play just didn't strike quick enough, right, Brooks?
No, I don't think it did. It was a little slow developing there. Kind of drawn out type of play.
So the Bruins are lining up in a second, about 5. 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left with Jaron Watkins in the backfield. Hatcher hands the ball off to Watkins. Watkins pops up the middle, and he could take it the distance. Yes, he does.
Touchdown. Bruins.
So the Bruins go ahead and get a quick strike of roughly about a 38-yard carry by Jaron Watkins. Watkins is stacking his stats tonight,
Yeah,
Brooks.
he sure is. You know, one player that we've had back on offense this week is Alan Amuya. That's he's our center, and he sat out last week for the one time that he got ejected at the first game of the year.
Yep.
And so the Bruins are real glad to have him back this week.
We are happy to have him back. So the Bruins are going after for the PAT, not the 2-point conversion. Wesley Wise asked for the snap. Oh, there's a flag on the play. And it looks like it could be encroachment.
Dead ball. Encroachment.
Defense,
Yeah,
yes,
defense.
that it was.
Just a little bit of a jump
Yeah,
offside.
he got a little
over there.
jump. Caused a bad snap in the meantime. Snap was over the head of Wesley Wise right there. So, Bruins get pushed a little bit closer to goal line. Wise calling for the snap. Snap. Ball goes up in the air. Boom. Hatcher hits it. Good. So the score for the Bruins is now 44. Beebe Badgers 7. There's 6 minutes and 38 seconds left in the second quarter. We're going to take a break. You're listening to 96.5 FM The Answer. Well, the Bruins are leading 44-7 with 6:38 left in the second quarter. Bruins are kicking off, and they're deciding to kick deep. Hatcher kicks the ball all the way to the 2-yard line. And number 4, Taylor Boyce, takes it out, and he gets out to the 15-yard line. The Bruin defense taking the field. And the Beebe offense taking the field as well. Beebe right here. Looks like they're putting in number 11, Mason Walker, at quarterback for the Badgers.
You know, one thing, Rick, I'm glad to see about some of the PA players, you know, a lot of them are very versatile. You know, got Wesley Wise. He's a quarterback. He plays linebacker. He's a PAT holder. So he's very versatile and very important to the PA team.
No doubt. Do a little of everything. Walker gets under center. Takes the ball to his right. Hands it off to the fullback. Fullback's getting stuffed. Gain of nothing right there. He didn't have a place to go.
No, there wasn't a hole there at all, for sure.
Well, it looks like the defense for the PA Bruins are really stacking up, playing a little bit harder than they did on that first series, and they've really been stuffing everything.
Yeah.
Looks like Isaiah Woods was in on the play to really kind of stuff that ball. It's kind of hard to move him out of the way.
Yes, it is. He's a pretty good sized fella. Let's see. Look him up here a minute.
So the Badgers
He's
come to the
6'2".
line of scrimmage.
He's 6'2", 230.
6'2", 230. Yeah, you're not moving him. Badgers go ahead. Get under center. They're going to run the option pass. Oh, little pop pass. Got behind the secondary. Taylor Boyce. Looks like he get tracked down. Yes, he does. He gets tracked down all the way on the 11-yard line. Great job by Hayden Henry of catching him, but the secondary got burned right there.
He did. He was a good 2 or 3 yards behind the secondary there. Got stuck behind them, and they got to stay back. You know
what the Badgers did there is they faked the option, and then the quarterback pulled up and passed it, and they snuck the back out of the backfield.
I was just fixing to say, Rick, if the score stays the same as it is, we'll be under the sportsmanship rule in the second half. But BB scores here, we'll have to put another touchdown on the scoreboard for the Bruins.
Yep, they line up in a T backfield with 2 tight ends. Caldwell under center. He takes the ball. He runs a belly option. He keeps it, and he's getting stuffed. Tackle right there by Cameron Fonseca, way behind the line. Probably a loss of about 4 or 5 yards there. Well, no, looks they're not going to give him that much. They're going to give him where he had forward momentum, so it's only going to be a loss of 1. So, Badgers get a nice break, get over the heads of PA on a influenced option pass. The Badgers line up with 2 tight ends, 2 backs in the backfield, and a wing back. Caldwell under center. Takes a snap. He's running an option to the left. Number 2, Khalil Anthony on the carry, and he gets a gain of about, it looks probably about 4 yards there. So it's going to be 3rd down, and they can still get a first down here if they get to the 1.5 yard line. So it's 3rd down and a long 7 for the Badgers. PA Bruins trying to buck up here. Have a goal line stand would be nice. They're not right on the goal line, but this is as close as they're going to get. Caldwell under center. And they run the belly option. No, it's a waggle pass. And he throws it. Oh! Intercepted by Hayden Henry. He makes up
for his
the pass.
Yeah, for his mistake he made a while ago.
They ran veer pass earlier, and Hayden Henry was probably to blame for that, along with the cornerback, Titus. Oh, no, they're going to call that an incomplete.
Gonna wave it off.
They're waving off the interception.
That's certainly. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, what are we doing here? Well, they've got conflicting reports coming from the field. Well, they're giving it to the Bruins now. So, we had conflicting reports from the refs here. We just didn't understand what was going on because one ref was basically saying that they had an incomplete pass. Another one said he had caught it. And they ruled that Hayden Henry had caught the interception.
Yeah,
So,
the ref in the white hat has the ultimate
he has the
authority.
ultimate say as to what's going to happen. So Beebe, they had a chance to bring the score possibly 44-14, but PA makes a play at the right time on the 7-yard line, protecting their end zone. So the Bruins are lining up on offense. They're in a tight formation, but Lane Hatcher is alone in the backfield. Takes a shotgun, gives a little shovel pass to R.J. Anderson. R.J. Anderson has some room. He takes it on the right side. He's now at the 30. He's at the 35. He cuts it back, and he's tackled on the 38-yard line by number 1, C.J. Caldwell, who's back in the game for the Badgers after an injury.
If it had gotten by him, I think it'd been smooth sailing to the end zone.
Yes, it would have been. An excellent play call by Coach Kelly, but there is a flag on the play. Maybe it was a block in the back. Let's see here. Looked like it was where the tackle was made is where the flag.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what's going on.
During the run, blocking the back.
Block in the back. That's it.
10 yards from the spot.
So it's a spot foul.
Even with that, we'll get away from our end zone back there.
Bruins will still get the first down, but they will be penalized 10 yards. So that's going to move the ball all the way from the Bruin 34 back to the 24 of the Bruins. So PA comes up with a big play to get their backs from the goal line, their own goal line. So Hatcher's lining up in the shotgun. He's got R.J. Anderson to his left, 2 receivers to his right and to his left. Hatcher's calling for the snap. Looks to his left. He hands it off to R.J. Anderson up the middle. Anderson gets the ball all the way back to the 36-yard line. So it's going to be a first down for the Bruins. And number 42, Parker Payne, was in on the tackle. He's actually a defensive lineman pursuing the ball.
He was definitely trying to strip the ball out of there. He was trying his might, best he could, to get that out of there from the running back.
Great effort by the Badgers. The Hatcher's in the shotgun. R.J. Anderson still in the game, flanked to his left. Hatcher's looking downfield, then he turns quickly to his left. He dumps the ball off to Nathan Biagioni on a quick hitch, and that goes for no gain. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10. Tackle by the Badgers was made by number 50, Braden Healy. Like a little bit of a slow developing play there, Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Kelly giving the signals on the sidelines. R.J. Anderson still in the backfield with Hatcher to his left to get double wide receivers. It's a quick pitch. R.J. Anderson turns upfield on the left side, and he gets the ball all the way out to the 50-yard line. So it's going to be a first down for the Bruins. Tackle was made by number 1, C.J. Caldwell.
You know, he's still favoring that left arm.
He is. He's carrying it gingerly. May not be playing much more quarterback, but he's doing a good job in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bruins taking the stride down the field. Started off on about their own 7-yard line after the Hayden Henry interception. Hatcher gets the ball, gives a little shovel pass to Ray Jackson. Ray Jackson's got a ton of room on the right. He turns the ball upfield and gets it all the way to the Badger 32-yard line. Excellent run right there by Ray Jackson. Ray Jackson comes out of the game, as well as Nathan Biagioni. In comes Cameron Bland, and it looks like they're bringing in Hayden Cobb.
Alex,
Yep, sure are.
Alex Boyce made the tackle there on the last play.
So the Bruins are lining up. Get 2 wide receivers to the right and to the left with R.J. Anderson in the backfield, flanked off to the left of Hatcher. Hatcher looked like he wanted to give the ball to R.J. Anderson, but R.J. didn't take it.
No, I think that was a little mess up there in the backfield.
Lane's like, "What are you doing?"
Uh,
And he took off running with it himself, and he gets a gain of about 4 yards, 5 yards there. So it's going to be 2nd down and 6. Little miscommunication between the quarterback and the wide receiver there. Anderson had an opportunity to carry the ball. He didn't want it. Should have grabbed it. So the Bruins are lining up in an empty backfield. They have 4 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. Hatcher's calling for the snap from the center. He gives another shovel pass to Cameron Bland, but that time it's stuffed. Number 63, Cade Harlan for Beebe. Knife through and made the tackle and actually lost about a yard. So it's going to be 3rd down and 8.
He was in the backfield about the time he got the ball and made a real nice tackle on the play.
Clock's running. There's about 150 left in the half. Coach Kelly's just really kind of trying to bleed this half out. I'm looking at the plays that he's calling. 3 receivers in a stack formation to the left of Hatcher. Hatcher throws it off to that side. He throws it to Brett Lynch. Brett Lynch makes the catch, and he gets all the way down to the 23-yard line of the Badgers.
C.J. Caldwell on the tackle there for the Badgers.
So the Bruins methodically going down the field in this drive with 1:10 left in the quarter. Lane Hatcher's getting a call from the sidelines from Coach Kelly. Right now, receivers are lined up, 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left, in double formation. R.J. Anderson's in the backfield. Quick little pass to Ray Jackson in the flat. Dump pass as he gets out of bounds. That brings the ball all the way to the 16-yard line of the Badgers. The clock stops with 53 seconds left. PA Bruins winning 44-7.
C.J. Caldwell on the coverage on that last play for the Beebe Badgers.
So once again, 2 receivers to the right and to the left in a doubles formation. Lane Hatcher hands it off to Cameron Fonseca in the backfield. And Cameron's plowing his way all the way to the 1-yard line, but I don't think he gets in. No. Nothing like seeing a defensive tackle carry the football. Because they're really hard to bring down, and it was hard to bring him down by the Badgers. So, 46 seconds left. The Bruins are.
He's lining up in the backfield again. He wants the ball again. He wants to score a touchdown.
Cameron Fonseca is one of the strongest guys on the team. A heck of a hard worker. I would not want to tackle him because he's good in the weight room. And they hand it off to him again. He plows ahead and he gets the touchdown. And the Bruins on the sidelines are very excited to see Cameron get into the end zone. So now the Bruins are leading before the point after touchdown, 50-7 with 28 seconds left. PA team is taking the field. Wesley Wise coming out with his tee.
You can see Cameron wanted to line up hurriedly before the halftime clock.
He wanted to get his touch, wanted to get his TD, get his 6 points. Wise takes a snap. Hatcher kicks it. It's up, and it's good. A little bit of a wobbly kick. So the Bruins winning 51-7 with 28 seconds left. And we're going to throw it to another break here. You're listening to 96.5 FM The Answer. Hatcher lines up for the kick. He gets the ball off. Ball is kicked to Taylor Boyce at about the 2-yard line. Boyce is. Oh, he played it just right. He slow played it as he came out of the. Really about the 2-yard line, not the end zone. Yeah, he slow played it and let everybody get downfield. Let the open gap opened up down the middle of the kickoff formation. And he took it all the way down to the 45-yard line, the 42-yard line.
Bennett Perkins was on the tackle there. He, like you said, he slow played it, and then when he stepped on the gas, it looked like
like a change-up pitch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What he did well is he just was able to see where the hole was. Mm-hmm. That was what was impressive.
Yeah.
So the Bruins are lining up in a little bit more of a safe defense here. Letting the ball run up the middle. 15 seconds left in the half. Burnett carries the ball up the middle. And it looks like the clock is going to run out, Brooks. There it goes, 1-0,
Halftime.
and it's halftime. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about the highlights for the first half and what we can expect in the second half. So the Bruins are winning over the Beebe Badgers 51-7. You're listening to 96.5 FM, The Answer.
Do what?
Got it. We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium, where the Bruins are leading the Badgers 51-7 in the first half. Well, Brooks, what are your thoughts on that first half?
After the score was 8-7, it's been all Bruins. They've just scored at will, and Beebe doesn't seem to have an answer for them. And so far, we've invoked the sportsmanship rule, and so it'll be another quick second half. But Beebe's tried. They just don't have the high-powered offense like the Bruins do.
No, they don't. They came out in the first series, and really offensively, they looked like they knew what they were doing and what they wanted to be able to establish. And it was the dive up the middle with the fullback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look at East High and you look at Beebe, you're looking at similar offensive styles.
Aspects, right.
And probably the main position that hurt the Bruins in the East High game was the fullback, the jet sweep, and the quick counters to the wingbacks.
Yeah.
So what you have is Beebe trying to emulate that. And then the first series they did it. And then they ran a bootleg off of their running plays and caught PA looking. And then in the second quarter, same thing. Got him, PA's playing hard on the option, and quarterback fakes the option, pulls up, and then he throws the ball over our head. Hayden Henry chases him down. And then Hayden Henry made the interception.
So he redeemed himself.
He
at
redeemed himself. That's always a good thing, right? But, you know, when you have a hard playing, rough and tough safety like Hayden Henry, that's going to happen sometime.
least.
And it really hasn't hurt the Bruins in the long
No,
run.
it hasn't. Sure hadn't.
But the last two drives for the Bruins, what are your thoughts there?
Uh, the last drive was just kind of a methodical drive. Coach Kelly was trying to run the clock out, and I was real happy to see Cameron Fonseca get a touchdown. I'm sure that'll be a highlight of this year for him. And it's good to see some other players. You know, they've all participated, and they all want to score touchdowns. And the defensive guy doesn't unless he recovers a fumble or intercepts a pass or something like that. But and another thing too, I think Coach Kelly is seeing the other options that his team might have later on down in the year, because Cameron's a good-sized fella, and he could line up at fullback and score a touchdown for the Bruins in a tight situation.
He could. What was interesting also about the PA offense in the first half is they gave quite a few different looks. I thought, you know, it was interesting to see the swinging gate, threw the ball out of it. He tossed the ball to Jaron Watkins, who ended up getting a really nice gain out of the swinging gate. That's another look for defenses to deal with.
That's something that the coach next week has got to look at and consider and get his team prepared for. And it takes away, it just makes it harder for the other opposing team to prepare for the Bruins.
No doubt. I had a friend that I used to work for back in my teaching and coaching days down in New Orleans, and he was up in Fayetteville observing practice with the Razorbacks during the summer. I mean, during the springtime, and I explained to him what PA does. And I can't say on air what he basically said, but he just said they would be a pain in the you-know-what
Right.
to prepare for.
The posterior, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he said, it must be really tough to prepare for you guys. I said, well, when you sit there and you think about the multiple formations you get on offense and then the special teams, that's the factor that you have to look at from a strategic perspective, going from Sunday when the coaches are watching film all the way to game day, that makes it really hard on the opposition. You give multiple formations. You have to line up correctly. That's the biggest problem a defense has when they go ahead and they play PA. It's like, am I lined up right? Because if you're not lined up right, Coach Kelly's going to see it, and they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you're going to get burned.
You're going to get burned, exactly. The Hogs got burned last week on defense because they were misaligned, most likely, on a couple of those quarterback runs. Well, we saw tonight, Beebe kind of was in the same situation. Next thing you know, you see Jaron Watkins pop up the middle, R.J. Anderson pop up the middle. You're seeing some shovel passes to Cameron Bland and R.J. Anderson, and then you're seeing the swinging gate. So it's a whole lot to prepare for you if you're Beebe or any other team getting ready. It
certainly is. And another thing, too, once you get so far behind, you just begin to scratch your head and wondering what in the world is going on, and that's one thing that's happened to Beebe today.
Yes. Well, it's the emotional toll it takes on a team. And it's teams can come back from that. Sure. If you look at the collegiate game and even the high school game, though you see it less in high school, you see it in college football more and more today. Think about it. TCU last year, they were losing, I think, 31-0 at halftime to Oregon, and ended up winning the bowl game. Yeah. You know, that game, which was a bowl game, came back and beat Oregon. You can do it in today's high-flying offense, but Beebe, they're not in position with their offense to be able to do that.
And you got to take into consideration these high school players, their age, their maturity, and they're just not as mature as college players. And so there you are as far as that goes.
Yeah, it does play into it, to say the least. Well, we're going to take a break. Brooks Beasley here with Rick David at halftime. The Bruins are leading 51-7. You're listening to 96.5 FM, The Answer. We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. Brooks, you have some statistics for us here, I
I've
believe.
got a few quick stats here for us. We're glad to have tonight with us David Jandel. He's a former co-worker of mine there at Garver Engineers, and anyway, he's here to help us tonight. But they got a few quick stats here. We've got, like I said, the score at halftime is 51-7 PA, and the time of possession for the first half, PA has held the ball 12 minutes and 10 seconds, and BB's held it for 11 minutes and 50 seconds. BB's had 6 possessions and 1 touchdown with 2 punts and 1 interception, and PA's had the ball for 7 possessions with 7 touchdowns.
That's impressive, to say the least. So what do you think can happen here in the second half, Brooks?
Well, I think second team for PA is going to come in and play the second half for us. I don't see any need for the first teamers to play anymore. I think the game is well in hand, and so I think the second team should get a whole halftime of play and let the regulars rest for next week's game.
Next week's game is against Little Rock Christian at Little Rock Christian.
That'll be a nice ball game next week. I know last year out there it was a torrential downpour, seemed like, and so maybe we'll have some dry conditions this year for us.
Yeah, but that was getting ready for the state title, so it was a semifinal game. Hopefully the weather's not that cold, right?
I hope not.
That had to be one of the more miserable games to experience from a physical perspective. It was great emotionally, but physically, wow, that was difficult.
Yeah, it sure was.
Well, right now, Little Rock Christian and Sylvan Hills are playing, and the score is only 28-21 Sylvan Hills over Little Rock Christian right now. Little Rock Christian put a lot of points last week against Beebe. Now, the catch is they gave up a lot of points to Beebe as well, because it was 44-33 with Little Rock Christian victory. You know, Jackson Bowersock, who plays quarterback for Little Rock Christian, he can slow the ball around, and he's a good athlete. So, you know, PA better come ready to play.
I'm sure Coach Woods will get their attention this week, and he'll have them ready to go and fired up.
Well, I think the fired up component's not going to be too hard after talking with my son Zach about it, because they're geeked up to be able to play against Little Rock Christian as they usually are. That's always just an exciting game from a rivalry perspective.
You know, it's in town. I mean, of course, across town rivals, I guess you could say, and both of them are Christian schools, and so there's a lot of competition there and rivalry.
There is a lot of rivalry. The kids know each other off the field, and they know each other on the field. You know, I'm from New Orleans, and tonight I've got to brag. My high school has been playing against my high school, Holy Cross. They're playing against Jesuit High School. They've played 96 times.
96 times.
96 times. Yeah, it's one of the oldest rivalries in the South.
Well, I was thinking to say that if they played once a year, that's 96 years.
Yes, indeed. Well, they had a couple of years because of the wars that kind of slowed things down. But two very old schools that have been staples in the New Orleans community. And when you see that, that's a great thing. And that's what's nice about having Little Rock Christian in the district. You see that budding rivalry between PA and Little Rock Christian over time. The kids know each other. It's a West Little Rock battle. That's what makes it special when you see the Salt Bowl between Bryant and Benton. These are the games that you want played, Brooks, in the state. You know, because it's Fayetteville, Bentonville. I mean, how about that game last week?
Now I'm not up on that game. You'll have to clue me in on that one.
Well, you know, Fayetteville, number 1 in the state.
Right.
They went down because Bentonville beat them.
Okay.
You know, Fayetteville, we got to see those guys during 7-on-7, and PA was able to beat them twice in the shootout of the South. And they've got an excellent quarterback in Taylor Powell. But I think they had a little bit of a winning hangover, because the week before that, they played against Dallas Bishop Dunn.
Okay.
All right. Went to Dallas, won that game. Then they come home and they play their crosstown rivals, and they weren't ready.
They were flat?
I think they were a bit flat, and Bentonville is a good ball club. There's been a breakup in the schools up there in Bentonville because they've gotten so big, and you have Bentonville and Bentonville West, which has impacted Bentonville, and everybody thought, oh, they're not going to be as good. Well, look what happens when you're not looking, right?
Yeah, you can sneak up on it and get you.
You better be ready each week. There's no doubt about it. So the PA Bruins, next week they have Little Rock Christian, and then they just continue to build into the meat of the season. But I think, you know, what you're going to see is a lot of competition with Sylvan Hills, who comes here to PA and plays. They've got a great quarterback. And then the Bruins are going to need to go to McClellan and win again at McClellan. So it's going to be an interesting season, to say the least.
It sure is.
So, Brooks, you going to the Razorback game tomorrow?
I'm going to be watching it on TV.
That's a good place to watch it.
I don't care that much for crowds. You know, if it was an outstanding team that the Razorbacks were playing, that might be a different situation. But I don't care to go see Alcorn State. I'd like to see a little bit more competition than that.
Yeah, I understand. Alcorn State, which they'll be a good team for the FCS level, but playing against the Razorbacks, they're going to be outmatched. UAB got a hold of Alcorn State and ended up winning a game against them earlier on this year. So I'm expecting Alcorn State to really kind of take it on the chin tomorrow, which would mean you get to see a bunch of freshmen in War Memorial tomorrow.
Right.
Be a fun time. A lot of people will be out there early tailgating, probably tailgate a little bit afterwards, and then we get to go watch some more exciting games at home. That'd be kind of the game plan for a lot of people here in the city.
Yeah, you know, with the game tomorrow starting at 11, everybody's going to have to do their tailgating pretty early. I think most people like to do afternoon tailgating.
I'll be out there at 9 o'clock. I'll be drinking a iced coffee, just trying to kind of wake myself up and get ready. That's the game plan.
All right.
Well, we've got about 3 minutes left in halftime here. We'll take another quick break before we come back to start the second half. You're listening to PA Bruin on 96.5 FM, The Answer. We expect a lot of the second team and third team from the Bruins in this half. We'll see a running clock, which is going to be a good thing. Be able to get us back to our houses a little bit earlier so we can wake up early and get to the Razorback game, as we were talking about.
Right. Everybody wants to get down there pretty early, I'm sure, to get started doing the tailgating since it's going to be an 11 o'clock game. So that'll be, everybody will get their full night's rest, maybe.
That they will. It's an interesting debate that's going on. Do you keep games at War Memorial Stadium, or do you send them all up to Fayetteville? What is your? I want to get your perspective on that, Brooks.
Well, I've been in Arkansas all my life, and I always liked the games here in Little Rock. But I'm just of the feeling that they're going to try to get them all up in Fayetteville.
Yeah, it's probably time. It's a tough thing for a lot of people in Little Rock want to kind of take on, but the amount of money,
right,
the toll it takes on the team, and what's best for recruiting, it's better to keep them up there because basically, that's a Taj Mahal up there, now, right? And when you come down to War Memorial Stadium, there's a ton of history, but you've got to take a 3-hour bus ride, and then you're playing an away game at home, ultimately what it is, and the recruiting factor isn't there that it is up in Fayetteville.
No.
And so the modern era is here. I played in War Memorial Stadium, and I'll tell you right now, that's one of the loudest stadiums I've ever played in. When it gets exciting there, it really gets exciting.
Yeah,
I love the crowd in Little Rock. They were amped up regularly a little bit more than the Fayetteville crowd. I would think time has changed. But I used to play 4 games a year here, and 3 down up in Fayetteville, or just vice versa. So we played a lot of games in Little Rock. So there's a lot of history here, but it's just time, unfortunately, that the times are changing, and they need to get them all up there to be competitive with the rest of the SEC.
That's true, but one aspect of it, the stadium is centrally located, so it gives a chance for all the
South Arkansans.
Arkansans from all around the state to come to a central location as opposed to everybody going to Northwest Arkansas. But they've got nice highways, freeways now, so that's makes it a lot different.
It does
to get up there too.
That's the one thing when you look for the guy that's down in Eudora, Arkansas, right? And he wants to make it to his one game. That's where it's special, right? That's where it's special. But when you go ahead and you look at, the impact that's having on recruiting, and then we play a game in Dallas where we're not the home team and we can't bring recruits when we played the A&M game last week, those are the kind of things that are all getting factored in there. It's great playing in AT&T Stadium, Dallas Dome, right? It really is. But we want to keep that. But what expense is that to the team? Well, that's a good expense.
Right.
War Memorial is one that's kind of hurting. You can tell by the games they're lining up on what they want to be able to do.
Right.
So in 2018, when the contract is up,
I think that's going to be it.
I
think the ball's going to drop, and
that's
the end
it.
of the line.
That's why you need to go out and tailgate tomorrow, Brooks, instead of staying at home.
Hey, I might do that. Hadn't thought about it that way.
That's it. Well, our time's limited with Razorbacks and War Memorial Stadium. Who knows? Maybe the Bruins will be playing there later on this year, right?
I certainly hope so. And if they do, that'll be 3 years in a row for them.
That'll be special. I've got to say, that's one of the reasons why we came to Pulaski Academy. Education's excellent, but I wanted my son to be able to experience what it's like to win a state title.
Well, they've got two down last year and the year before that, and this year's going to be a try for a three-peat.
That's it. Well, we've got about 10 seconds left until the half starts, so we're going to flip around here and get ready for the start of the second half. So the Bruins are kicking off to the Badgers. Well, we can see here. Let's see if they're going to kick it again to Mr. Taylor Boyce. Because last time he came out, slow played us a little bit, gave us a little change up, and took that return all the way from the 1 yard line to the 40-yard line. So Hatcher kicks it off, starting off the second half. Once again, slow played, but by number 24. Dalton Pruitt is a little bit of a bigger back, looks like, for the Badgers, and he takes it out to the 27-yard line.
What do you think they're going to do here, Rick? The first team will start the second half for one series, and that'll be about it?
Yeah, it looks like it. It's about getting time on the field and making sure your legs are fresh next week for Little Rock Christian. You can't get too comfortable. You've got, football is not just a quick sprint, it's a marathon, and that you've got to play, a full 4 quarters. And as we play better teams, it's gonna be important that they keep that experience. BB's lined up in 2 tights with the T backfield. Walker in at quarterback. He hands it off up the middle. And for a gain of maybe about a yard, yeah, it looks like a yard. So it's going to be 2nd down and 9. And now the whole JV comes in.
Yeah, here comes the second team in.
There goes the endurance component.
Yeah, one play for the first team on the second half.
So JV takes the field. Starting defense runs off the field. And when we say it's a wholesale substitution, we mean every player.
Every player. First team got a nice round of applause. They were exiting.
So Walker in under center. They run the option to the left, and they hand the ball off to number 7, Nathan Burnett, for the Beebe Badgers. And on the tackle was Thomas Wheelis, number 27.
Yeah, we'll get to call some new names this half, won't we?
Yeah, the good news is clock's running. We'll be able to see what these young guys can do against a physical, pretty good sized BB offensive line. So Badgers line up once again in a T backfield, 2 tight ends. Walker under center, runs a belly option, keeps it himself, and in on the tackle right there. Is that? Let's see. No, we've got another youngster in there. Looks like it's Hunter. Yeah, Garrett Pritchett. Yeah, it was 64. Will Shelton on the play.
64.
Garrett Pritchett on the carry with Will Shelton. That looked like there for a minute. It looked like Hudson Henry. I was like, what's he doing on that side? Wearing 64 instead of 84. Walker under center again. He's barking out calls. He's running option to his right, and he hands it off to the fullback, number 7, Nathan Burnett on the carry. Looks like Burnett gets it out to probably about the... Yeah, it looks like a first down. Yeah, he gets it to the 42-yard line for the first down. And Jake Terry, number 56, was in on the tackle.
Sophomore defensive lineman. He's 6'1", 195. That's good size.
Yeah.
Sophomore.
Yeah, his dad was a good ball player here in Little Rock and played at Louisiana Tech for a little while and a little while for the Razorbacks with me. Walt Terry. So, Bruins line up against the T again with 2 tights. They run option to the left, and they hand it off up the middle to the fullback. Oh, and it was a shoestring tackle by the safety. Number 26 for the Bruins. Jack Gerard, I mean, when you talk about game saving.
It was a...
Not game saving, but
touchdown
saving.
Yeah.
Great tackle right there by Gerard. Walker's under center with 2 tights. They run the option to the right and they hand it off to the fullback. And it's actually the kicker, Connor Beaker, carrying the ball. Wyatt Howe in on the tackle. Bruins. So BB's moving the ball here against the PA second, really, JV team.
Yeah, a little bit of a level difference there. They're not quite as big and stout as the Beebe Badgers.
Yeah, really, it's right here. It's about girth. That's why the Bruins are getting pushed around. Walker gets under center. He hands the ball off to the fullback on the option.
Had a fumble on the play.
It was stuffed.
Beebe recovered it, though.
Yeah. It was stuffed. Bruins are getting a little bit more comfortable with their assignments as this series kind of goes on. So it's second down and 8. So BB lines up once again, 2 tight ends, 3 backs in the backfield, and a straight T. Walker gets under center. He runs the option to the right, and he hands it off to number 2, Khalil Anthony. Anthony gets the ball all the way down to the 23-yard line, so it's going to be third down and about 3. Bruins defense hopefully can buck up here. You got to figure BB's going to take 2 downs to get the first.
Yeah, I think without a doubt that they won't turn the ball over here on down.
BB once again is coming out in just 2 tights, D backfield. I think Brett Bielema's calling these plays. Walker gets under center, hands it off to the fullback on a quick pop. It's number 14. For the Badgers, Nathan Clifton, a 5'10", 180-pound fullback, took the ball up the middle on the dive option and scored.
Real quick hitter up the middle.
It was. He just exploded through there. So, Badgers go ahead. They're going to try the point after touchdown. Number 10, Daniel Martinez, is the kicker. Number 22, Alex Boyce, is holding. Snap, kick is up, and it's good. So, the Bruins winning 51-14 with 5:57 left in the third quarter. We're on a running clock. The Bruins are leading. We're going to take another break. You're listening to Bruin Radio on So the third quarter, there's 5:57 left. The third quarter, Bruins are leading 51-14. Beebe went on a nice drive right there. It was a 9-play, 73-yard drive that took 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Obviously, the Bruins played their starters for one play, and then they ended up putting their JV in. And the JV held their own, considering the size difference.
They did. They sure did. And one thing you got to consider about this drive that Beebe just 6:03. You know, we've got a running clock. It doesn't stop for anything. Well, I mean, it stops on certain situations, but it didn't stop during that.
No, it didn't stop there. And Bruins couldn't get the stop when they needed to as well. So Daniel Martinez lines up for the kick, kicks it deep. And it looks like Big Trey is going to take it out.
Trey Adams.
There you go, Trey. Turn it upfield, brother. That's it. All right, man. He runs hard.
He does.
No doubt. Excellent run. Excellent run. He gets it all the way out to the 44-yard line. Trey Adams.
Number 5, Gage House for the Badgers was on the stop, and I'm sure he had to see old Trey coming at him.
Yeah, he didn't like what he saw when he saw Trey was coming at him.
Now, the program has Gage House listed as 5'4", 115, but I think he's a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah, well, you need to explain how big Trey is.
Well,
that's the question.
Trey's 5'8", 210.
Yeah, and you don't want that barreling at you. No. He's a tough sucker. That's one thing for sure. So, PA JV offense.
Illegal snap.
PA JV offense takes the field, and they're a little jumpy. And got a little motion out of the guard in the center there. So the Bruins lining back up. Wesley Wise is in at quarterback with Trey Adams at running back. Wesley keeps the ball himself, takes it upfield, and gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, so there's 0 gain. So it's going to be second down and 15. Tackle was made by 61 Wade King. Bruins lining up. 3 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Wesley Wise in at quarterback. Hands the ball off to Trey Adams. Trey Adams takes the ball upfield and gains about 3 or 4 yards. So it's going to be third down and about a long 10. Walker Strickner on the tackle. So the Bruins lining up in an empty set with just Wesley Wise at quarterback. Wesley's also a linebacker for the Bruins. He sprints out to his left. He throws the ball downfield. Oh! He had Robert Johnson down the field, but he just didn't. He didn't get his feet set. I don't think he's practicing on setting his feet to throw the football during the week. Do you?
No, I don't think so. And he's basically a linebacker, but got to practice some quarterback during the week, because if Lane were to get hurt, well, he'd have to step in, be the first team quarterback.
Wesley would step in and be the quarterback is right. Lane's not going to get hurt.
No.
So we line up 3 receivers to the left. You got Trey Adams in the backfield with Wesley Wise. Wise sprints out to his left, and he dumps off. Oh, he was dumping it off to the flats, but he throws an interception. And Wu makes the tackle, but the linebacker / quarterback. I think he may have done that on purpose so he could have made the tackle. That was an impressive tackle right there.
He might have. It was an
impressive
tackle.
So right there, Beebe Badgers make an interception. I believe it was Ahmad Nelson who ended up making the interception. He jumped right in front of a quick out route that Wesley Wise was trying to hit. So the Bruin defense comes out on the field.
You want the light off?
Yeah, whatever you want. Badgers come out. They're ready to play. Bringing in some JV guys now. Once again, they're trying to hit the quick hit on the option. Number 5, Gage House, the sophomore quarterback is in. Cornerback is in at quarterback. Hunter Nay on the tackle for the Bruins.
think that's the first time we've called his name this year. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 160 linebacker for the Bruins.
That's it. So Gage House once again in at quarterback. Looks like they're going to run some of the same plays. Dive option to the right this time. He gives it to the fullback up the middle. And Beebe gets a gain of about 3 right there. Number 17, Evan Cochran on the carry, and Garrett Pritchard, number 82, for the Bruins in on the tackle. So here we go. We got 3rd and 5. Beebe's moving the ball a little bit here. We've got some JV on JV, it looks like. A little bit more evenly matched.
Right. Looks like Tyler Tolbridge has checked in for the Bruins at outside linebacker.
So Khalil Anthony's in at fullback for Beebe, and he's their starting fullback. And he's got the ball, and he gets a carry all the way to the 28-yard line, and that gets a first down for the Badgers. Hunter Ney once again in on the tackle. And Jake Terry was also in on the tackle as well. Well, that's a little unfair. Take your starting tight end and put him in, and you start fullback and you let them run the ball in that direction. Yeah. Keep your JV in. That's my thought process.
Yeah, that is.
Let these guys play at the level that they should be playing.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, Rick. Play apples to apples and oranges to oranges.
No doubt.
As they say.
No doubt. So that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the Bruins leading 51-14 over the Beebe Badgers. We're going to take another break here. You're listening to 96.5 FM The Answer.
Second down, second down. Second down.
We're back here at Rector Field at Joe B. Hatcher Stadium. The Beebe Badgers ran a dive option to the right, and they handed the ball off to the fullback. Gained about 5 yards while we were on break, so it's going to be second down. About a long 5. So they line up in too tight, T backfield. Quarterback's under center, runs dive option to the right, and he hands it off to the fullback, who's a big old fella, number 33 for
First down.
For the Badgers. Ahmad Nelson in on the carry, and they brought them Jack Gerard.
O-line, O-line, O-line. Back up just a little bit, okay?
I think our ref has his mic on.
Mm-hmm.
Got to turn his mic off. That's a little loud for everybody. So, Badgers line up once again, 2 tights and a T backfield. Quarterback taking the snap, most likely run another dive option. They do to the left. Hands double dive. And he gives it to the first dive back, who was number 17, Evan Cochran. Cochran stuffed right there for only a gain of about 3 yards, so it's second down and 8.
Burnett Perkins was on the tackle there for the Bruins.
12-yard line. Second and 8.
So the Badgers break the huddle. Number 5, Gage House, still in at quarterback. They're in a T backfield. House runs dive option to the right. He hands it off to Ahmad Nelson again up the middle. Ahmad Nelson's a good-looking fullback.
Yeah,
And
he certainly is.
He gets the ball all the way out to the 5 of the Bruins. So, BB's threatening here.
Number 31, Hunter Hay on the tackle there for the Bruins.
So the Bruins get a BB and a 3rd and 1. Let's see if they can buck up right here and get the stop, Brooks. BB's got a good-sized front. Playing hard. You got 2 tights, D backfield. Handoff up the middle. 33, Ahmad Nelson. Carries it up the middle for the touchdown. Once again, Nelson doing an excellent job.
Goes to Ahmad Nelson. Touchdown, Badgers.
So the Badgers tighten the score. Make it 51-20 before the point after touchdown.
Really, this is going to be a deceiving score to fans if they, haven't listened to the game. Or a lot of people are going to look at the newspaper tomorrow and say, wonder what happened to the Bruins. But they'll have to read the article.
Yep. So Daniel Martinez puts it through the uprights again. And that brings the score to 51-21. With the Bruins needing to get some things going on the JV side of things.
They sure do, don't they?
Well, the offense in particular, you get a turnover. I don't care who you are. You let the other team get points, that's a 14-point swing ultimately it is. Razorbacks learned that last week against Texas A&M.
They sure did.
You just can't do it. The things that really kill you in football are penalties and turnovers.
Yep, penalties and fumbles or turnovers. Our coach used to harp that, and it'll just shoot yourself in the foot when those two take place.
When you're playing the game of football, you got to show up. You've got to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to keep the turnovers to a minimum. You got to keep the penalties to a minimum, and you've got to win the 4th quarter in a tough ball game. Right. Those are components each and every week you should be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
And, right now our JV's getting out physical. They turned the ball over, and they've had penalties.
Yeah.
Not been a very clean game, and we are in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the offense has kind of run away with some things here with the varsity.
That last drive by the Badgers was a 7-play, 51-yard drive and took 3 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock there. So that leaves we're now at 8:50 in the 4th quarter. 51-21. PA over BB.
So Martinez kicks it deep. I think he kicks it to Ja'Cory McMillan, and he does. Ja'Cory's still on his feet. He's carrying the ball. He's on the 40-yard line, and he's brought down, just shy of the 40, I'm sorry, at the 37-yard line. Excellent run right there by Ja'Cory. He took the ball upfield, broke it off to his left, but he was brought down by number 14, Nathan Clifton, and number 5, Gage House. So the Bruin JV comes out on the field. Clock's running. 8:10 left in this 4th quarter. Wesley Wise in at quarterback. Trey Adams in the backfield with him. Receivers lined up tight to the formation. Wise is looking for the snap. Takes it. Does a shovel pass. And he hands it off to Cummings, I believe, number 22. No, that was Brandon Perkins, I believe, for the Bruins. Cade Harlan, number 63, was in on the tackle.
He had that one
Yeah.
snuffed out and covered up, as they
Snuffed
say.
out, and it was just slow developing.
Yeah.
You just could tell the JV just hadn't practiced that shovel pass. So Wise gets in the empty backfield. Bad snap. He fumbles the snap up in the air. He gets it, and he runs, and he throws it over the middle to number 85, Nate Cummings, who makes an excellent grab.
Yeah, good pass and catch.
And gets the Bruins out of a little bit of a pickle and gets all the way down to the BB 36-yard line. That was an excellent athletic play by Wesley in taking that snap that was over his head and then getting the ball off. And then Cummings made an excellent catch. Trey Johnson in the back, Trey Adams in the backfield. And I think he ran a little early there. And once again, the snap was high. We could see the sloppy play with the JV starting with the snap. Wesley Wise goes ahead and pulls the ball out of the air and has to basically throw a pass to get the ball to Trey Adams.
Yeah.
So on the tackle was Nick Vincent, number 44, for the Beebe Badgers. So it's 2nd down and 9. the 35-yard line of Beebe. BA's got 9 yards to go. Double pass to Trey Adams up the middle. He takes it. Oh, he gets shoestring tackled, and he gets brought down. I guess they're going to spot this one on the 32-yard line, so it's going to be third and about a yard to go.
Here's a good one for you to pronounce.
Okay, number 27, Daniel Escandron
Okay.
for the Badgers. Escandron. Escandarian. That's it. Escandarian. We got it. Had to look at it a
Okay.
little bit.
All right. Got to look at it a little bit.
Wesley rolls out to his right. Oh, that looks like that would have been a little pass interference if we were playing earlier on in the game, as Wesley Wise threw a pass to number 10, Ethan Gaslow.
That last name kind of brought back the days out in Utah, didn't it, Rick?
Yeah, it did. I had to look at it for a little bit. So you got 4th and 1. JV offense trying to get something going here. Coach isn't going to run the ball unless he runs Wesley, because Wesley Wise will be in an empty backfield. 3 receivers to his right, 2 receivers to his left. Bad snap, and he does. Wesley takes it up the middle. Wesley spins. He takes the ball all the way to the 10-yard line. That ball was on the 27-yard line of the Badgers.
So, the center needs to start snapping the ball just a little lower. If you don't watch it, he's going to get one over Wesley's head here in a minute.
Yeah, he's releasing the ball a little late.
Yeah.
Got to release it a little bit early as it's coming through his legs. So Wise gets in the backfield with Trey Adams. You got to figure right here they're going to try and get Trey the ball. They're in a tight formation. Wise takes another step. Gets the ball to Trey Adams on a quick pitch. Trey turns upfield on the left-hand side. Looks like he gets a gain of about 1. And on the tackle was Escandarian. There you go. We even got Chris Amsler saying it right.
Right.
I think he listened to us. He figured it out through us, Brooks.
Is that what he did?
That's
okay,
what he did.
I agree with that.
The JV's still in the ball game now. Wesley Wise is split out to the right, and you got Trey Adams alone at quarterback. He's the snap is high. Trey is not ready for that high snap that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
And he took off running just a hair bit too early.
Yeah, he was leaning.
And it was
on
a fumble.
He was leaning on that play, leaning forward a little bit too much, and snapped it over his head.
Beebe made the recovery.
You know, that's things they can work on in practice and get corrected. So it's not good to happen in a ball game, but something that they need to work on now.
Well, like we talked about, you don't want to make mistakes in the fourth quarter. You don't want to have turnovers. You don't want to have penalties. Well, we're having the turnover.
Okay.
It is the JV, though. They do need to work on it. That's
Yeah.
one thing for sure.
You know, really, in my opinion, if I'd have been a referee, I'd have thrown a flag there because he was a little forward motion there, in my opinion.
So Gage House in at quarterback. They're probably going to run a lot of dive option. Yep, quick pop to the up back. Gain of another about 4 yards there. For the Bruins, you had Mark Odom in on the tackle. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the ball game. See if BB can go on a tear in this amount of time.
You know, Rick, having the JB play here is going to pay out dividends and later on in the season and a lot next year. So it's good to have him in there.
2 tights. They hand it off once again to Ahmad Nelson, number 33. He gets the first down. And he's a good-looking kid.
He sure is.
Should have been running him earlier against the varsity.
I believe number 64.
Running hard, runs fast, got good size. Number 64, Will Shelton in on the tackle. So, BB making a move with 1:45 left in the game. There's 2 tight formation. T backfield. They're just running dive option right or dive option left. Gage House does it again. But this time he goes ahead and he hands it off. But there's a holding penalty on this play, so it's going to back up the Badgers. Badgers playing hard, playing fast in this JV battle here in the second half. That stops the clock with 1:24 left. Actually, they're calling a face mask on the Bruins. So the Bruins are going to get penalized here. Could be a 15-yard penalty. It's going to move the ball near the 50-yard line, just shy of it. Get them out on the 47-yard line, the Badgers. So with 1:24 left, Badgers are threatening PA territory.
One thing you say about when the sportsmanship rules invoked, the second half sure goes a lot faster.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So it's dive right or dive left. We know that, and it goes dive right. And they hand it off to Ahmad Nelson up the middle. Ahmad Nelson gets a gain of about 3 yards there, so it's going to be 2nd down and 7 with a minute left in the ball game. Wonder if they're going to try a little option passes right here. Try and get another.
I think they might.
Clock's running.
Yeah, Jake Terry was on the
53
last
seconds
stop.
left. So let's see. Well, we know it's either going to be dive option right or left, like we talked about. This one's going to the right. Ahmad Nelson running hard, keeping his pad level down, and he gets a first down. So Beebe is going to have the ball first down, PA territory on the 42-yard line.
Yeah, half the Bruins were on the tackle there. We couldn't really make out who
No
stopped
doubt.
him.
I think Chris Amsler, our PA announcer, did an excellent job of calling it because we couldn't pick out one person that made that tackle. It was about 5. 2 tights, T backfield, dive option to the right, but this time they give it to not the fullback, but the T back. And that's ball game, folks. Thomas Wheelis on that last tackle. The Bruins get another victory back here at PA after a long drought of not playing games in PA.
Right.
51-21 over the Beebe Badgers. It was a dominant win once again by the Bruins on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball. Beebe did an excellent job of trying to get things going with their offense, but they just couldn't do it as Coach Wood had the defense prepared. So, Brooks, next week, Little Rock Christian, what do you think that score is going to be?
That game, I'm going to say the Bruins 42, Little Rock Christian 27.
Okay. So, are you saying there's a mercy rule involved in that?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. All right. I kind of see, the Bruins being able to get really good control of this game. They'll be excited. I think Little Rock Christian will be excited. But I think there'll be a mercy rule, but it won't happen until probably the later part of the third quarter.
Okay.
Was what will happen. The reason why I say that is because the Bruins are used to a passing team, and they're very good against the run. I think the magic of PA football